welcome to another lecture. In this class, we are going to continue with chapter 1 of class 7th English grammar Nagaland Board, which is the sentence. Now, in the previous two lectures, we've talked about what is a sentence and what are the different types of sentences. In this class, we shall learn about subject and predicate. Now, when we talk about a sentence, any sentence for that matter, that can always be divided into two parts. The subject as well as the predicate. If I say, is walking slowly. If I give you the example, Ram has done the work. If I give you another example, my TV is not working. So as you can see, all these three sentences that I have written on the screen for you. First of all, these three sentences are declarative in nature. They are declarative and assertive sentences because they are simply stating some information. Now, subject of the sentence is that part of the sentence which tells you the person or the thing that you are talking about. So, what or who is it that you are talking about? That is your subject. Let us talk about the first sentence. Priya is walking slowly. So, who are we talking about in the sentence? Priya. So, Priya is my subject. Second sentence. Ram has done the work. Who are we talking about in the second sentence? Ram. So, that is my subject. Third sentence. My TV is not working. What am I talking about in the sentence? I'm talking about my TV. It is my subject. So, in all the sentences, what we are talking about or who we are talking about is the subject, and the rest of the sentence is going to be your predicate. So, subject is the name of the person or the thing that you are speaking about, and predicate refers to the rest of the sentence to be precise. But your predicate, you have to remember, will always have the verb. Whatever is the verb of the sentence, that verb is always the part of a predicate. So, as I told you already, subject is what and who we are talking about, and predicate is the rest of the sentence. Let us look at these sentences. He smiled. Short and simple, yet it is a sentence. Who am I talking about? He. And what did he do? He smiled. So this is my predicate. They laughed. They is my subject. Laughed is my predicate. Preeti sang. Who am I talking about? Preeti. And what did Preeti do? She sang. So that is my verb. So basically, a subject is always either a noun, because as I told you earlier, it is always the name of a person or a thing. So your subject is either a noun or a pronoun. He, she, it, they, we, right? And predicate always consists of a verb. So, verb will always be there in the predicate, and one of those words, the group of words is going to be a verb. So, out of the many group of words that we have in the sentence, in the predicate part of the sentence, one of them will always be verb, as I told you. As we can see further in these examples, a black cat entered the kitchen. Who entered the kitchen? What am I talking about? I'm talking about a black cat. And what is my rest of the sentence? Entered the kitchen. Now in these three words which are making my predicate, I have a verb also. Entered is my verb. So as I told you, predicate will always have a verb. Those naughty boys were punished. Who are we talking about in the sentence? We are talking about those naughty boys. So this is my subject. And what happened to those naughty boys? They were punished. Now both these words in the sentence are verbs. His elder son is a doctor. Who are we talking about? We are talking about his elder son. So that is my subject. And what is my predicate? Is a doctor. Now this is a group of words which has a verb in it. And what is the verb? Is. A tall soldier with a long moustache stepped forth. Big subject, but it is a subject. Who are we talking about in the sentence? We are talking about a tall soldier with a long moustache. And what did this soldier do? He stepped forth. Verb is stepped. So basically, both subject as well as predicate can be a group of words. How do we know what is the subject in the sentence? By asking the question, what are we talking about or who are we talking about? Predicate will always have a verb. Predicate is something that will tell us about the subject of the sentence. Let us look at the exercise and it will help us understand this topic better. So complete the following sentences to convey complete sense. So you are given with 8 sentences. We'll do the first 4. You're given with 4 incomplete sentences and we have to complete them so that they can make sense. They can be a proper sentence. A tall soldier with a gun in his hands. This is what? This is my subject. Because who am I talking about in the sentence? A tall soldier with a gun in his hands. So I know I have to write the predicate. Predicate should have a verb. So a tall soldier with a gun in his hands is standing there. It has the verb is standing. Let us look at the second sentence. Those naughty boys are always, what can you complete with? So those naughty boys are always talking in the class. Yes? Some children came back from the playground. We know how the plants make food. So there are multiple ways in which you can complete the sentences. I'm sure when I was writing these, there were so many options that were coming in your mind at the same time, right? So basically we have to remember that whenever we complete the sentence, it should make sense. So we've done the first 4, the next 4 you can do on your own. Now since we are talking about the subject and the predicate, let us understand how do we find a subject in the different kinds of sentences. First, it is a statement. All the examples that I stated for you over were all statements. If I give you more examples, Reena talks a lot. The sun sets in the west. The boys are playing. So these are all what? These are your statements. These are all assertive sentences, declarative sentences. How do we identify a subject in a statement? By asking the question who and what. So we are going to ask the question who and what, and the answer that we get is my subject. Let us talk about the first sentence. Who talks a lot? Reena. So my subject is Reena. The sun sets in the west. So what sets in the west? The sun sets in the west. So that is my subject. The boys are playing. Who are playing? The boys. So my subject is the boys. So we identify the subject in a statement by asking the question who and what. Now for interrogative and exclamatory sentences. If I talk about an interrogative sentence, dear students, if I give you the example, have you completed your work? Question mark. Does Rahul live here? Is Nikhil present in the class? Has she got the money? Question. Now these are what? These are interrogative sentences, right? If I change these interrogative sentences to simple statements, what will be the first one? Have you completed your work becomes you have completed your work, right? This will become you have completed your work. And you have completed your work. Who are we talking about? We are talking about you. So my subject was you. Similarly, if I give you the second sentence, does Rahul live here? What is the sentence for it? Rahul lives here. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about a boy named Rahul. So this is my subject. Similarly, the third sentence, is Nikhil present in the class? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about a boy named Nikhil. So that is the subject. Has she got the money? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about she. So that is my subject. So again, we simply have to ask the questions who and what. Although in interrogative sentences, the structure of the sentence is different. But when you ask the question, you will get the answers to who and what. If we talk about the exclamatory sentences now, let's say, what a beautiful day. Yes? What are we talking about in this sentence? We are talking about a beautiful day. So it is my subject. If I say, for example, how stupid I am! Exclamatory mark. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about myself. So that is my subject. If I give you another example, oh no, we lost the match. Who are we talking about in this sentence? We are talking about we. So that is the sentence. So basically, in an interrogative or in an exclamatory sentence where the structure of the sentence is changed, the questions that you are going to ask in order to identify the subject is still who and what, and the answer that you will get is your subject. Now, there are a few sentences. For example, if I talk about imperative sentences which do not have a subject, which is not a clear subject. If I say, sit down, don't cry, don't shout. Now, as you can see in these sentences, is there any subject? If I ask sit down, who am I talking to? Who am I asking to sit down? I do not have a direct answer. Don't cry. Who am I asking not to cry? Again, I do not have a direct answer. Don't shout. Who am I asking not to shout? I do not have a direct answer. But in these sentences, we have the subject you. Because if I say sit down, I'm telling you to sit down. There's always the third person that I'm talking about. So sit down, I'm talking to you. So my subject is you. Don't cry, I'm talking to you. So my subject is you. Don't shout, my subject is again you. So those sentences in which the direct subject is not given, we know that we are talking to somebody and therefore my subject is going to be you in that. Let us now look at some exercises. There's a question which is given to you. Pick out the subjects and the predicates in each of the sentences. There are 10 sentences. We'll do the first 5. The camel is the ship of the desert. What are the 2 questions I'm going to ask to find out the subject? Who and what? Right? Who is the ship of the desert? The camel, which is my subject. Wait outside the park. Who am I asking to wait outside the park? Do I know who am I talking to? No. So, I am asking you to wait outside the park, so my subject is you. And this sentence is the predicate. Similarly here, this sentence was the predicate. Are you coming to the party? Who am I asking for the party? I'm asking you for the party. So, you is my subject and the rest of the sentence is my predicate. Each of them has bought a scooty. Who am I talking about in this sentence? Each of them. So, my subject is each of them. And what is my predicate? Has bought a scooty. 5th sentence. Does he like his new school? Who am I talking about in the sentence? He. So, he is my subject and the rest of the sentence is my predicate. So, this is how, my dear students, we'll identify the subject and the predicate in the sentence. Now, we are going to try and identify the difference between an object and a complement. A sentence can either have an object or it can have a complement. So, a sentence can have both an object as well as a complement. So, either of these 2 things will be there. What is an object? Object is that person or that thing which is influenced by the verb. If I say, for example, Reena is playing with the ball. What is my subject in the sentence? Reena is my subject, right? What is my verb? Is playing. And what object is my verb affecting? The ball. So, the ball is my object. If I give you another sentence, for example, if I say, my brother broke the window. What is my subject? My brother. What is my verb in the sentence? Broke. Yes. And what did my brother break? What was the impact on the window? So the window is my object. So an object is that person or thing in the sentence which is influenced or affected by the verb. One more thing that we will, that will help us to identify the verb, the object in the sentence is that an object when we change that sentence into the indirect sentence. Now, another thing that will help you to identify an object in the sentence is the fact that the object of a sentence becomes the subject in case of a passive voice, and the subject of a sentence becomes the object of the same sentence in the passive voice. So in the active passive voice, the position of the subject as well as the object is interchanged. So this also will help you to identify an object in the sentence. Yes, direct indirect speech, subject becomes object, object becomes subject. So here the ball will become the subject when I change this sentence into indirect speech. The ball is being played with by Veena. The window was broken by my brother. So I can change my object to a subject in indirect speech. So a complement is generally either a noun or an adjective. Okay? So in most of the cases, the position of the complement will be occupied by either a noun or an adjective. These are the only two possibilities that I have for a complement. So a complement is either a noun or an adjective which is used after the verbs. And after what verbs am I going to use this? Is, am, are, was, were, has, have, seen, appear, become, look. So that word which is used after the verbs that are stated on your screen in order to express something about the subject without the object, that is a complement. For example, if I say, he is tired. What is my subject in the sentence? He is my verb, and tired is the complement of the verb because it is describing the quality of my subject. If I give you another sentence, she looks excited. What is my subject? She. What is my verb in the sentence? Looks. And what word is describing my subject? Excited. So that is the complement. So a complement of the verb is basically either a noun or an adjective that is going to tell us about the quality or the state of the subject or the object in the sentence. Where an object can become a subject in the indirect speech, complement can never become a subject. Complement will always remain a complement. Okay? So this, my dear students, is the basic difference between an object and a complement that you at times get confused with. So I hope it was clear to you. And now we are going exercises based on this. Pick out the objects and the complements in each of these sentences. You are given with 15 sentences and you have to identify the complement and the objects in these sentences. Let us start doing. The first sentence, Shakil had a parrot. In this sentence, Shakil is the subject, had is the verb, and a parrot is the noun. And as we had discussed before, complement of a verb can either be a noun or an adjective. So here a parrot is a complement of the verb. The gardener brought flowers. Again, if I say, what did the gardener buy? Flowers. So this is again an object. My best friend is Anil. Immediately after the verb is, my noun is used. And when I use a noun after is, am, are, was, were, that is a complement of the subject. Ashoka was a kind king. What is my subject? Ashoka. What is my verb? Was. Right? What is the quality that I get to know about Ashoka from this sentence? That he was a kind king. Right? So this is my complement because it is telling me the quality of my subject, that is Ashoka. The next sentence says, he looked at the rainbow from his balcony. So he looked at the rainbow. So he is my subject, looked is my verb. And what did he look at? The rainbow, which is my object in the sentence. Shanti will not solve this sum. Shanti is my subject, my verb is will not solve. And what will Shanti not solve? What is the object that Shanti is talking about? This sum. The policeman took the thief to the police station. So what is my subject in the sentence? The policeman. What is my verb in the sentence? Took. And who did the policeman take to the police station? The thief. So the thief is again my object. So like this, my dear students, you are going to identify whether in a sentence we have an object or a verb. Let us look at another question. Complete the following sentences by providing suitable complements or objects. Also indicate whether you have filled them with object or a complement. So again, you are given with 15 sentences. They are incomplete in nature. You have to complete them by filling either a complement or an object, and then also specify whether it is a complement or an object. So the first sentence, he speaks. Let me fill it with a complement. So he speaks well. Okay, this is an adjective that I am using to describe the speech of my speaker, my subject. So this is the complement in this sentence. The elephants are nice, or the elephants are innocent. So please remember that generally in a sentence, if we are using a noun or an adjective after the verb, it is a complement. So this is what generally happens. The sky is, again, dark. This is the quality of the sky that I am expressing. So this is again a complement. I heard the servant shouting at the stranger. So who was the servant shouting at? At the stranger. I have an object in the sentence. The Mahabharata is inspiring. This is an adjective that I am using to describe my subject. So this is a complement. We enjoyed. What did we enjoy? Let's say playing cricket. So we enjoyed playing cricket. What did we enjoy playing? Or what did we enjoy? playing cricket. So, playing cricket is my object. The flower garden looks beautiful. An adjective which is describing my flower garden. So, this is a compliment. Our school has many rooms. What do my school have? It has many rooms. It is again a noun that I am using. So, this is again a compliment. So, basically, if you are filling the sentence with a noun or an adjective, it is a compliment. Otherwise, it is an object. So, like this, dear students, you are going to complete the rest of the sentences. Let us look at the other question. Put the subject parts given in the bracket in the right order to complete the following sentences. So, in these 5 sentences, these are the subjects which are unorganized. Okay? They are not arranged properly. So, we have to arrange them in such a manner that they become appropriate subjects. Let us look at the first one. That women tall. What will I write? That tall women. So, that tall woman is a good musician. Subject. His brother elder. What is it? His elder brother. That girl blue-eyed. So, that blue-eyed girl. That boy corner in the. So, that boy in the corner is making a noise. Dash must have opened the door. His friend either he or. So, either he or his friend must have opened the door. So, this is how we rearranged our subjects so that they could make sense. The last question requires you to complete the sentences. Now, the predicates are to be rearranged so that they can make complete sense. Life is not a bed of roses. So, I rearrange these words so as to make an appropriate predicate. A clever fox was standing under the tree. My friend has invited me to dinner. We should not laugh at others. My father is the principal of this college. So you see, my dear students, we simply rearranged the predicates so that they could make sense, and with this we come to the end of this chapter. We've discussed about what is a sentence, the types of sentences, subject and predicate, how to identify subject in declarative, interrogative, exclamatory as well as imperative sentences, and also learnt the difference between an object and a complement. So I hope the chapter was clear to you.